California Governor Gavin Newsom is plotting to temporarily strip power away from his own state's independent redistricting commission as part of a broader plan to neutralize Texas Republicans' mid-district gerrymander. Now, National Review got the scoop on a private emergency Zoom call that the California GOP had with hundreds of delegates and grassroots organizers across the state about how the California Republican Party plans to fight back against Newsom through social media, grassroots organizing, and the courts. So let's take a step back. Unlike in Texas, where the state legislature has the power to draw the state's congressional maps, California's gerrymandering power lies with an independent redistricting commission. Now, in recent weeks, the governors put pressure on the state legislature to back a constitutional amendment this fall that would strip power away from that independent commission and allow state legislatures to draw maps that are more favorable to Democrats, netting them a few seats ahead of the 2026 midterms. And those maps would be in effect, if this constitutional amendment passes, through 2030 until after the 2030 census, when that power would revert back to the independent commission. Now, California Republicans kickstarted their legal challenges earlier this week with one lawsuit, but we should expect that to continue. On that Zoom call that I listened to, a lawyer for the California GOP said, quote, "We anticipate that there's probably 3 lawsuits that would be filed in the next 10 days. What's more, they also said that they've identified 18 potential areas for lawsuits, and that even if this constitutional amendment passes, their legal efforts will continue." One of the lawyers said there's a very vested interest from DC on this, meaning that Republicans in the nation's capital are watching very closely what's happening in California and are probably going to be likely to lend a helping hand financially or otherwise. California Republican Party leaders are also giving their activists and delegates a lot of tips on the messaging front, urging them to tell their neighbors and voters in the state that this is just an attempt by Gavin Newsom to get a head start on the 2028 presidential race. Another thing to remember here is that the failed effort to try and recall Newsom years ago cost California taxpayers more than $200 million, meaning this constitutional amendment is likely to have a similar price tag. Now, that high estimate is giving California Republicans another talking point, which is to say, why spend $200 million on another constitutional amendment when we could be spending and investing that taxpayer money toward more important issues like wildfire recovery, wildfire prevention, schools, public safety, and homelessness? But given California's deep blue voter constituency and the millions that Newsom's likely to spend on the advertising front, California Republicans know this is an uphill battle. To learn more about how California Republicans are hoping to defeat Newsom here, head to nationalreview.com.